Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Two Perfect Podcasts. My name is Yzel.
My name is Renz.
And we're not perfect.
Two Perfect Podcast is dedicated to three things.
First, we are dedicated to sharing super personal stories and owning our imperfections.
Second, we want to create a safe space where we can be our most authentic selves.
And third, we want to build a community for people like us who are fed up with the pressure of trying to be perfect. And before we start on today's episode, make sure you like, follow, subscribe. We're on YouTube, Two Perfect Podcasts. You can find us on every podcast streaming platform. You can also email us, twoperfectpodcasts@gmail.com. If you like the content, make sure you share it with your friends and family and email us. Let's get connected. Let's talk. And let's have some fun. So this episode is super special because we are rolling out our Filipino American History Month segment. So we said that this whole month,
all month long, baby.
October, it's our month to connect with our roots and, just educate me.
My favorite person to educate.
My favorite person to educate is me. So that has been really fun for me. And this episode is really special, like I was saying, because it's about Filipino tattoos.
Yes.
And how did you feel about tattoos when you were younger? What was your take on them?
I think when I was really young, I was convinced because, again, I was raised as a Catholic and it was very demonized. It was always like, don't defile your body. Don't do that. Those are just for the criminals, crazy people.
Gangsters.
They're wild.
Yes.
And if you do that, that means that's who you are. That's always what was repeated to me. But as I got older,
I realized that's exactly who I was.
Exactly. And I'm like, let's brace.
I'm a criminal. I'm a gangster. And so I need my tattoos.
I need it.
Yeah.
So then, that is what it was. And the fact that this has been going on, it's been in our history for many, 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 many years. Yeah. And it wasn't seen that way.
Yeah.
Was so fascinating to me.
When did you learn that?
Probably college time, or maybe like the spark or like the peak of like IG, because the woman that does it in the Philippines traditionally, she became really, really popular, and I was like, wow, what is this? And that's when I started digging deep for like our history tattoos.
Yeah, so I also did not know about, I guess, a similar experience growing up in a Catholic household. My dad actually asked me to promise him that I would never get tattoos when I was like 10 years old. He's like, promise me you'll never get tattoos. It's, it's not good for you. There's just a lot of negative connotation that my parents feel growing up in a Catholic household as well.
Yeah.
And in my mind, making that promise, I was like, I'm going to break this promise.
Yeah, like, you just have to make the promise anyway.
I don't know why, but I always wanted tattoos.
Yeah.
I knew as a child, I was like, yes, tattoos, it's something that I want for myself. What do they mean for you? Like, when did you commit to the idea that you wanted to get a tattoo? Was it in high school or was it before?
Probably, high school. Just because that's when I started to blossom, and I was just like,
rebel,
who am I? Who am I? Yeah, but that's nicer, right? So blossom.
Yeah. Like bulaklak?
Yes, bulaklak is a flower. So to me, that's just when it got really appealing. I think when you get to like your teenage phase, that's when you started to really want like the counterculture. So it's like, oh, how can I get that edge or whatever? So I was just like,
you wanted that edge, huh?
Yeah. And
you want to stand out or what?
Exactly. I wanted to find another way to express my artistic side.
Yeah.
Is what I told myself.
Yeah.
So that's when I started to appeal to the idea of tattoos, and then eventually we got them. So I was like, yeah, baby.
Look at me now.
Look at me now, Mom. I'm a criminal.
I'm a gangster.
Because we didn't get them at legal age. We got them way younger.
Yeah, we did not.
So we were literally a criminal.
No, we were children. So whoever gave us
they were the criminal.
Yeah, because we got our tattoos in high school. But that's not the point. The point is I knew very early on that I wanted tattoos. And it does signify like your own sense of self. Yes. Which is the beauty of tattoos is you are taking ownership
of your body.
Mm-hmm. It's your work and you get to control that. And I think there's something beautiful about choosing something that's going to stick with you forever.
Exactly. Yeah. I think especially like at that age, we were craving control. So it's like that was the one way we felt like we could express it, you know?
I think it's a healthy sign of growth when you're a teenager and you just want to have your own sense of control because you're trying to break away from feeling and thinking that you're a child, right? So yeah, definitely. Also, similar experience to you with like finding out very later on in life. I didn't find out until recently that tattoos are very much part of
our culture.
Yeah. I did not know that. I saw it, of course, in like Polynesian culture and other Pacific islands. It's pretty, you know, like I would say. I don't even know how I know that. Probably media. Where like you know
because they embrace it more. Moana. There's literally a portion where the tattoos is part of the plot.
Exactly. Yeah. So I thought that was something for like Pacific Islanders or like other Polynesian cultures, and then come to find out that is also part of our culture because we are essentially Pacific Islands as well.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird thing because Filipinos have been, I don't want to say tossed around, but it kind of feels like we've been tossed around in terms of like labels. It's like, are we Asian? Are we Pacific Islanders? Are we, you know, what are we? And the honest truth is that we're all of it.
Facts.
Right? Like, we're all of it. We just have a pretty awesome opportunity to experience both.
The mosh posh.
Yeah.
Everything. I think what it is too, the fact that we don't know about it is after we Catholics? Catholicism? You know what I mean? As soon as we embrace that, or like the documentations of being tattooed got erased in the history because it became a sin. So we did not want people to know that that's part of our culture. So I think that's a big factor of it too.
Yes. So just to give some history, because it is Filipino American History Month, the history behind tattoos and why they're so meaningful. I mean, honestly, it's kind of a lot. But I learned in my research that there are, it's, how do I say this? The interesting part about Filipino history is that so many different things are happening at different parts of the islands.
Yeah.
And what happens is in pre-colonial times, you have thousands of different tribes that exist because there's thousands of islands in the Philippines. And because of that, you have different groups that have different belief systems.
Yes.
And they have a different way of life. So the book that we're reading, Bone Talk, by Candy Gourlay, if you are interested in reading, it's a really awesome book. It is taking place in the late 1800s, early 1900s, probably around the Spanish-American War. And it's about a boy who is looking to own his rite of passage into manhood. And he's part of a tribe, a mountainous tribe. They live in the highlands, which is a mountain area. And while he's trying to cross over into his manhood, unfortunately, there's a war going on, whether it be the Spanish-American War or the Filipino-American War. I haven't gotten to the part where I find out what part of history it's at. But because it's told in the perspective of the boy, it is such a unique and rich story.
Yeah.
Because all of what I know about the Spanish-American War or the Philippine-American War is through the lens of Western culture.
Yeah.
And so it's really like I'm so immersed into this book. But anyways, one thing that happens, and I'm probably gonna, it's a little bit of a spoiler for you, unfortunately, but it's cool. I'll try not to spoil as much, but you know, he's trying to cross over into his manhood. And there are some things that prevent him from getting there. Did you get to that part yet?
No.
So it's not as a streamlined process as he hoped, which is a very frustrating for him because, you know, in that tribe or just, I guess, even now, it's like, that's what you want, right?
Yeah.
You want to grow up and you want to own your sense of self. And you're like, you know, for you, it's like being a woman. And for him, obviously, it's like, I want to be a man now. Because that's what it is. That's what life is about. But because in the Philippines, there's a lot of superstitious beliefs. I guess now we take it as superstition, but it's really cool because in the book, it's really what they believe. Yeah. Like what we take.
It's religion.
It's their religion. What we take as superstition out, because that's actually, spoiler alert, our next episode is about Filipino superstitions, which we are very superstitious people. And that is traced back to our tribal
ancestors.
Yeah. Our ancestral community being tribal. Everything is a sign. Everything is an omen. You know, you have to pay attention to these little things because those little things is a sign from the gods.
Yeah.
Like,
because our gods are from nature.
Yes.
So every time something happens, it's like, this
means
means something.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not just a thing that's happening.
That snake right there, it's trying to talk to you, and it's a sign from God. So that's really what's happening in the book. There's something that happens that prevents his because there are rituals that they have to do for someone to cross over into that second part of their life, into manhood. Yeah. And because of that, him and his best friend come up with the idea of headhunting. So headhunting, like killing someone and chopping off their head.
That's what it sounded like.
Another tribe in the Philippines, a neighboring tribe, because what happens with the tribes is they are all actually typically like battling each other. Yeah. So, you know, that's just the natural way of things, I guess. And they're like, you know, you can just, to prove your manhood, instead of following what the elders are saying, because they're saying we can't do it now because the signs from the gods, why don't you just kill someone of a order tribe, and that will show your man. Yeah, exactly. And so the situation comes up where he essentially kind of gets an opportunity. He's essentially attacked, and he's able to take over the person that is attacking him, and the person attacking him is from an opposing tribe. And so the person attacking him is covered in mud, so you can't really see. I guess they're trying
camouflage.
To exactly. They're trying to camouflage. And so once he knocks that person unconscious, he removes the dirt and the mud from the person's face and their body, because he's like, I want to see who it is that is like coming for me. And come to find out, this person has no tattoos. And when he sees that, he's so upset because he's like, this one is not even a man. Yeah. They're not a man. They have no tattoos. Where are their tattoos? It's basically like a joke to him. Yeah. Because
how is that going to prove he's a man if he's killing a boy?
Exactly. So that was really cool to read because it showcased how important tattoos were in Filipino culture, pre-colonial Filipino culture, where
like it puts it into context.
It puts it into real context. Yeah. Where tattoos were given to, well, in his tribe, they were given as a sign that they have killed. So the more tattoos someone has, that means the more kills that they have.
The more they're covered with it, then that's how you know, like, damn, guy is...
that's that guy you don't want to mess with. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's just like a cute little story to give you guys some idea.
Yeah.
But tattooing has many different general terms because in the Philippines, there's like thousands of languages, especially pre-colonial, because there's thousands of tribes. They all
have means to communicate within their own tribe.
Yes, they all communicate differently, which actually you'll see in the book, which I think is really cool. And yeah, because I guess because we're coming from America, everybody here typically speaks English.
Yeah.
And that's like a big thing in America. It's like, if you're in America, you should speak just
one language.
Yeah, we want it to be that way.
Like, unite them by one language.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, that's not how it was in the Philippines. And it's still not how it is.
Yeah. There's still so many dialects, so many languages.
Yes. And it's all essentially passed down from like the major tribes that were there.
Yeah.
And even to this day, there are still tribes in the Philippines and they still communicate from their original like tribal language, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So look at how many different names. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's also another one.
More.
That mean tattoo, getting like
to get tattoos
or tattoos, depending on like what part of the Philippines they're coming from. However, they all, you know what's funny though? When I was at Big Bear with my siblings, side note, we were hanging out on the lake and there was a huge like Filipino family not that far from us, and I can hear them talking, but I could not understand them because they're speaking at different times. And it took me like a good, I don't know, minute or so to realize because it sounds like I should understand.
Yeah, like, you know, it feels Filipino.
Yes, which it is.
It's not Tagalog. That's why
it is Filipino, but it's not Tagalog. So I was like trying to get closer and closer to see like what are they saying? Because I know most of my people, they look like me.
Yeah,
they look like me, and they sound like me, but they are not talking my native tongue. They're not speaking Tagalog, so I have no idea what they're saying, which is so interesting. So in the Filipino terminology, even though they're different, and if you don't speak it, you won't understand it, it sounds the same.
Yeah. I remember growing up, I got a little envious of people who knew other Philippine dialects. Yeah, because I only knew Tagalog. Yeah. And then they usually know Tagalog and something.
Oh,
you know? So usually the most common one is Bisaya.
Yeah.
So usually people would know that, or Ilocano, and I'm just like, oh man, I only know one.
I didn't get that experience. The area I grew up in, everyone just spoke primarily just like Tagalog. So I didn't get that experience until I left.
Yeah,
the
actually,
Philippines.
That's what I meant.
Oh, okay.
That's when I felt it. Sorry not to clarify it, but I only felt that when I got here because, again, regionally in the Philippines, they speak the same language as you. So everyone spoke Tagalog in the Philippines where I was at. But the moment I got here, that's when I got introduced to
the different dialects. Yes, yeah, because my mom's boyfriend is from Cebu. So... and my mom, I guess, because she's with him, can understand.
She started picking it up.
Bisaya? Yeah. Yeah, because Cebu is in the Visayas.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so. But also...
It is for a fact. It's in the Visayan region. So in the Philippines, there's 3 regions, Luzon, Mindanao, and the Visayas. So... we know a little bit of something.
But we know a lot of nothing.
Yeah, which is why there's 3 stars on the Filipino flag.
Yes.
Fun fact. So,
the more you know.
So, anyways, going back to tattoos. There's different names, like indigenous names for like
the process,
the traditional like tattoo, but they all are meaning the same thing. The process is the same. So have you seen it before?
Yes.
So they take like a mallet, like a hammer kind of a thing, and then they have another stick, and usually, so there's like two sticks basically. One stick is holding like either multiple or one like not needle, but like something that is like a needle.
Traditionally, I read they usually use the thorn from calamansi trees. Or whatever pointy thing they can find.
When I read it, they are using like so many different types of things as long as it's pointy like a needle is. And we're talking like pre-colonial times. This is when this was happening. And they would attach it to that one stick, and then they take the mallet or something like a mallet, and they
like kind of just like slowly hammer it in. Slowly
hammer at someone's skin. And then there's many different ways that they will incorporate the ink. So one of the ways that they do it is they use like ashes, or I even read that they use like pig bile. Or just like, you know, something for the pigment, and then they'll trace it out, and then they'll put it, I guess they'll do it, and then they'll put the pigment into
basically the scars.
Yes.
So the freshly wound they just created.
Exactly. So that shit is painful. It's fucking painful. And one thing that I learned is because it is done as a rite of passage for different things, or it's always something very meaningful, and that's why they're doing that. It is a whole ritual. It's not just like, oh, let's go get a tattoo.
It's not like now where it's like, oh, let's go to Hollywood and just get tatted.
Exactly, let's just go get tatted. It's like a whole thing. It's a celebratory type of experience where there's a ritual performed, and then, you know, the tattooing process is incorporated into it. But it's definitely a painful experience, and it is done over a long period of time because of how painful it is. Which I want to get one.
Me too. I want my rite of passage. Because I'm still not a boy. Or I'm still a boy.
Even though we're tattooed already, we're still children.
These are fake.
It's fake. They use a tattoo gun, which that's not legit. But so I read that in the Tagalog and in the Moro peoples, their tattooing like rituals, actually it was already dying down during pre-colonial times. So the tradition for doing that practice was already slowing down even before the Spanish arrived. But it was still heavily done in other parts of the Philippines where, you know, they just saw it as an important aspect in life. Also, another cool thing is because the tribes are all very different, they have different meanings to their tattoos, and different placements have different meanings as well. So some of them only get it in certain parts of their body. Certain tribes will only get it like on their stomach or their back or their legs, and then certain tribes have it on their face, have it all over their body, and there is a different meaning to that. I know that in like this Visayan tribe, their toughest warriors, like the warriors that like
the highest
ranking warriors are typically the most vicious and have the most kills under their belt. They are the ones tatted on the face.
I read that too.
You read that? Yeah, that's like their thing to signify like I'm the most badass. Because imagine getting that shit done on your face. Girl. I feel no pain. That's why I have all of this shit on my face.
Right. Looks like we're getting face tattoos.
Oh, hell no.
I'm just kidding.
I ain't no
I'm not down.
warrior. I ain't no warrior.
I'm not the baddest.
I'm a peasant just wanting to cross into my manhood. I don't need the face tattoo. You can put it on my back. Shit. Where would you get yours?
I don't know.
I want it to be where there's a lot of meat. Because ain't no way I'm getting that shit done on like a bony area.
Because it already feels funny with like the gun.
Yes.
I could only imagine like
a fucking hammer, bro. Oh, dude. I'm gonna get a little dot.
I need a mole. Actually, I need a mole like on my face. Maybe that's.
I'm done.
I'm the baddest. Look at me. I got a tattoo right here.
Oh, I thought that was just a mole.
It's a tattoo, baby.
No, but seriously though, because tattoos hurt the most on the bone. I don't even know where I would get it.
I feel like someone told me they have. Oh, it's one of Keith's friend. It's the opposite for them. Like, it feels weird for him on the flesh, but he doesn't mind it on the bone. And I'm like, you're just saying that.
Someday, right? You need to go to the doctor. No, I mean, I guess
everyone has a different.
Everyone experiences pain differently.
Yeah.
So, I guess that's cool.
Anyway.
But definitely a concern that I have is because the indigenous process of like
getting tattooed
in the Philippines is such a sacred thing.
Yeah.
There are still tribes that exist to this day that have kept a lot of their like pre-colonial ways or have passed down their stories. Although very, very rare and very few.
Yeah.
I remember reading like most of just tribal knowledge is lost. It's gone because no one was there to record it. And so we weren't able to preserve all that knowledge from the past. I know that always makes me so sad.
Yeah.
But those that do, we know that the process of getting tattoos is so sacred that they don't just let anybody do it.
Learn, yeah.
They don't just let anybody learn. It is
like you still have to be some sort of ranking, some sort of in the royal blood or something.
So I read in one tribe that you have to come from that line. So if you are not blood related to the person that is doing the tattoos,
how to do the tattoo process,
then you can't learn it. So that's unfortunate. So hopefully we got to do it soon.
I know.
Hopefully we find a way to preserve it.
We probably will, just to preserve it, but I don't know. That's just wishful thinking for me. Let's do it, you guys. Let's find a way.
Let's all meet in the Philippines and let's all get tattoos the indigenous way.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
I read something online that made me feel joy. It said basically, you were talking about how the process is very painful and stuff, and it's usually with the warriors, and it's because they wanted to give an aura of brave, or like, you don't want to mess with me.
Yeah.
So the fact that they use the word aura, I was just like, I just got a kick out of it, because it's like, wow, so you're meaning to tell me aura? My ancestors,
they're manifesting our fears
about it? Yeah. Because they want to come off as intimidating. They want to give off that aura. Like, it's still a thing that we cared about back in the day.
Honestly, yes, because we are very much... I think that just comes with being tribal.
Yeah.
Is we really care about aura. We really care about the way things feel. It's like aura is signifying how in tune you are with like your self, and not in just a physical space.
Especially because you were talking about it, that it is a sacred ceremony.
Yeah.
So them literally putting in on their skin is sacred. So it's like, that's their aura. That's an extension of themselves.
Yes. So one thing that I really loved in one of my reads, so there's a tribe where they ascribe a lot of spiritual meaning behind the tattoos. So with the tattooing, or with the tattoos that you get, because it's such a spiritual thing, they believed that that your tattoos would carry over with you once you're passing. So I thought that was really cool. That's how special and important tattoos were. Yeah. So after death, that's it, you know?
Wow.
That you still had that. You still held on to it.
Nice.
Yeah. Also in my notes, it says that with everyone was tattooed, so it's not just like men. I know we talk about like warriors and stuff a lot in this, you know.
But part of those were women.
Yes, that's true. But also even women who, you know, were not warriors, they still receive tattoos, and they all have different meanings that wouldn't be like a warrior. I don't know if I listed any on my notes.
The specific examples.
But yes, women did receive tattoos for different reasons. Yeah.
Because I know depending on the tribe that you look up, there's going to be tribes that's a lot more open. They're a lot more gender fluid and stuff like that. But I know there's also tribes where it's just like, it's reserved to just male warriors too. I feel like I read that somewhere.
Other designs communicated knowledge from past ancestors or the gods, or were marks to protect a person from angry ancestors or evil spirits. Like, your spirit is in trouble. Let me give you this tattoo.
I know.
To protect you because you in trouble, bro. That's basically what that means.
That's so freaking funny. It's like, imagine thinking, it's like, I feel like there's some bad spirits that's following me around. What should I do? It's like, oh, I got you. Let me just give you a tattoo.
For real. Also, like, they did see it kind of like clothing. So tattoos were kind of seen as a way to cover up. Yeah, so it is also seen as like protective clothing that had a lot of meaning to it. And also in the book Bone Talk that I was just talking about, when the lead character, he comes across a woman and she's wearing clothes like something covering her torso, he was so shocked.
Yeah.
He's like, it is so strange to see someone so covered up.
Clothed.
Clothed, because even women did not wear tops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not sexualized, that's why.
Yeah.
It's just a way of living for them.
It is. But yeah.
That's so funny. I love that that's like, we get that kind of narrative, because a lot of the times most people will find, you know, half naked people like, oh my god, that's so vulgar. That's so weird.
That's what happened. So what happened was when Americans came and saw the tribal communities, and they're covered in tattoos, which, by the way, when the Spanish arrived to the Philippines, they called us the painted ones because we were just covered in tattoos. And so even with the Americans, and that's hundreds of years later, you still have those tribal communities that are covered in tattoos and they're not fully clothed. They saw them as savages.
Yes.
And that's why in the Filipino American history episode we did 2 episodes ago, we talked about how there were human zoos. So they would essentially capture people of those tribal communities and would put them in a cage and show them off in these human zoos that we had in Louisiana in the 1800s. And they were like, look at these savages in the Philippines. They're living like this. They're not fully clothed. They're covered in tattoos, which to them at that time was seen as like super wrong. Like, we need to save them. That was the mindset that they had, which is like, fuck you. You know what I mean?
White savior crap.
What?
White savior crap?
Yeah, exactly. Like, that way was so
because at the end of the day, they had their own belief system. They're a thriving community.
And then you get to read in Bone Talk where it's like, the opposite. They're looking at the person that's clothed like, what is wrong with this person? Like, why are they like this? How are the gods gonna know?
Yeah.
You know, like,
how are they gonna get protected?
Exactly.
They have no tattoos.
Yeah. How are you gonna honor the gods? How are you going to live life the right way, I guess? I don't even know how to describe it, but you know what I mean.
The culture shock.
for both sides.
Mm-hmm. But again, that's why it's so important for us to be talking about these types of perspective, because there's a lot of those perspective from from Western culture, you know?
Yes.
We hear that a lot. We hear like, oh my God, they're savages, this and that. Look how inappropriate they are. Yeah. But we never really get to see something like Bone Talk, where it's like, oh my God, look at them, they're fully clothed.
Yeah. Why are they covering their torso? Yeah. They're offending the gods.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's nice, it's refreshing. We need more of those kinds of content.
We just love the counterculture aspect of it, where it's so different from what we're taught, which is why it's so exciting.
Yeah.
So I'm reading also that right now, they call it endangered because it is. I know I talked about it already with like the indigenous tattooing. Mm-hmm. It is an endangered practice. There's only 3 tribes in the 3 parts of the Philippines that still are doing it, you know, the way that it would have been done back then. And they're all highland communities. Like, they're all mountain communities.
Yeah. So, probably because it was harder to get to them.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the bigger reasons too.
Or I think I have this feeling that in the highlands, because of Bone Talk, they were more resistant of the change, because it seems that the communities, because of Bone Talk, the communities that live in the highlands, in the mountains, they are so, what's the word?
In tune?
They're so in tune with that mountain life that doing something different, it feels so wrong. Mm-hmm. And I would kind of equate that to what it's like here in America. Because if you go to like the Appalachia, or like if you go to the Midwest and like the mountainous regions, it's country as fuck out there. Mm-hmm. And the people in that region, they're just country. Mm-hmm. And they do not want to change. Like, their way of living in like that area of the world, I want to use, I guess it's a derogatory, so I shouldn't say it. But
it's okay, I know it.
You know what I mean? But the communities that live in those regions,
it's still very preserved.
It's preserved, and they want it that way. And that's like the way that they see is the right way. And maybe that's just similar how it is everywhere.
Yeah, probably.
Like, because it's the mountain region, and maybe they just feel more in tune with that. I don't know.
That's interesting.
Now I want to look into mountainous regions.
Me too, just to see if there's some sort of pattern. Maybe we are onto something. Who knows?
Because, so I knew a girl who's from Yosemite. Grew up in Yosemite, and she would travel 4 hours to work in Sacramento. And she, I know. And she would tell me that, like, of her upbringing, she has like goats, she has like chickens, she has like, you know, farm animals and stuff like that, which obviously is very different at Sacramento. Even though Sacramento is it's not as city, it's still, you know, a city.
It's still a city in comparison to
Yosemite. Yeah. But that's just the way that they live. Well, and I don't know, is that a thing? Mountain people.
If that's the kind of lifestyle that you live,
they ain't listening to this.
And if you are listening to this, let us know. How do you guys feel about it?
Bone Talk women tattoo their arms to enhance their beauty or signify their readiness for marriage. The arms were the most visible parts of the body during traditional dances.
So that's where
it is believed that men would not court women who were not tattooed.
Oh,
because it's like
they're respecting. They're respecting. It's like they're not ready.
Yeah, that's a child right there.
Wow.
Oh, there you go. Oh, this is another tribe. But this woman, she's just tattooed on her arms.
Just living life. Yeah, because I remember when I did like research to pre-colonial Philippines, there's it's from that book that they first saw, and it's like one of the only preservations that we have of what pre-colonial Philippines looked like. So I saw a good amount of those pictures. It's very interesting.
I love it. I just I get happiness from looking at it.
Me too.
It just
all of a sudden I feel like I make sense. Right?
Really?
A little bit, because it's like,
let's unpack that.
let's take a little deeper.
Unpack that.
Let's get a little deeper. Because for me, yes, I also grew up with those notions of like, oh, that's vulgar. Because
that's what you're taught.
Exactly. But then there's a part of me, I was just like, but why? And then when we got to this age of like, we embraced, getting tattoos, and it's like, that makes sense. I don't know if it's just my pain threshold, but sometimes like, when people see me get tattooed, I don't really make faces. I'm just like my dead face. Like
Zoom in right there.
Yeah, so they're like, that doesn't hurt. So I'm like, it hurts, but it feels okay. It feels
my
right.
ancestors are walking me through this process.
Yeah, it feels right. Like, getting a tattoo always gets me excited. It's just like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my body.
This is who I am.
Yeah.
I'm connecting with my ancestors. What I want to do is really dive into what tribe my ancestors are from, so that when I choose the type of tattoo that I want to get,
it means something.
It's going to be related to the tribe. Because, what if I get a tribal tattoo and it's not of my tribe?
Yeah.
It's like I'm betraying my tribe.
You're a phony.
Yeah, my ancestors might not accept me.
They're
when
gonna
I pass
you
over
even more. And be like, wow.
When I pass over into the afterlife, they might not accept me. They might be like, we don't know you anymore. Yeah, which is like a thing. Yeah, they did do that. Yeah, if you betray the tribe, they would disown. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want that to happen to me. So I want to do my research, and
that would be cool. I think it would just means a lot more than just getting a tribal tattoo of any tribe is already cool, but for it to really come from your originators, that means more. It means more, and I think I decided I'm getting it on my arms. Ooh. Yeah. Seeing those women, I'm like, that makes so much sense. That's what I need to do. Yeah. And then, bam, you're going to get courted left and right. Marry me, marry me, so. Oh, no. I'm just kidding. I'm a child. I know. This is fake. This is fake. We didn't even say what the name is. We just said, oh, look at it. Because there's so many. Batok, batek, batik. I don't know. There's so many. Oops. There's so many different names for it. Because even then, there's buri, tatak among the Tagalog. Mm-hmm. Buri, watok. I mean, there's just so many names for these indigenous tattoos. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't even know a single one. Oh. Yeah, just, I just knew how the process looked, but I didn't know what they were officially, or even just one. Tatak, I guess, makes sense. Yeah, because, tatak, like, yeah. Yep. It took me a second, but it means mark. Duh, yes. Duh. Oh, that's because I know it meant something. I knew what it meant in my head, but I'm like, what does it mean? Yeah. Which makes sense. Makes sense. But comment below if you've ever gotten a tatak. Because I want to know what that feels like. Yeah. And even like your own process. How did you choose your own.
Just a tattoo or like the traditional like indigenous tattoos?
I was more so talking about the indigenous one, but I mean, if you also just want to talk about your own tattoos, we could do that too, because I love talking about tattoos. I love hearing people's stories.
I know.
But I never share mine.
Do yours have stories?
Sometimes. Or they have meanings, but I never really say them. I always just do like a roundabout, like, oh, I got it for this. I got it for that. But I never really like
divulge all of the personal details.
Because they're so intimate to me and I never knew why. Yeah. Because every tattoo I've ever gotten has some sort of meaning to me.
Now's your chance to disclose the information once and for all.
Yeah. It's between me and my gods. It's an offering to them. Yeah. To keep me safe and sound and lucky.
There you go. Watch over you.
That's it.
Oh. I thought you were going to continue.
No, not it.
Same. Yeah, they are very personal, but some people love to talk about their tattoos, which I get it because it's like a sense of pride. I'm sure if I were living in a tribal community and I was getting tattooed, it seems more communal.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Right? Like the tattoos that they're getting in that era, they're for your people. It is both for you, but also for your people. Because also they're getting tattoos. Sometimes they're getting it done with like even like in Moana, like how he had the tattoos that have like the mythology or just like stories from the past. We also did that too. And so you're essentially a walking history book.
Exactly.
Like you're showcasing the story of your people, a story of your people, and then it just gets passed down and passed down.
Yeah.
And so it's like a communal thing, but also very personal too.
Yeah, to you.
Which is so beautiful.
I love that.
I know. I need it.
Which is our first tattoo. It was for ourselves, but it was communal.
Yeah.
Because
dude.
Just a little background. We all got matching tattoos.
I know.
For our first tattoos. Not just us, but our tribe.
It definitely was our tribe. And it is so on brand with It's so... I just love the circular feeling of life. Like, I love the way that just really fits so well with who we are culturally. Being Filipino,
it's perfect.
And we didn't even know.
We were just doing it on a whim. Not even on a whim. Slightly.
Kind of, but
I love that it's perfect. And that's why when I said it's like all of a sudden it makes sense. Like I didn't know what it was back then. It just felt right. And then the fact that there's some sort of history background that's
really... It really parallels into our modern quote unquote life where it's just a parallel to what it was like in those tribal times.
Like obviously it's different, but it makes me feel connected. You know? And I think that's what it was too. It makes them connected with each other, with the gods, with themselves. Yeah. And that's how I feel too. Wow.
Oh my God, you guys.
I did
tattoos
not know.
Are so beautiful.
Yeah. I did not know this is where the episode was going to go.
Me either. Me either.
Yeah, but love it.
I know. I love tattoos. I can't wait to be fully tattooed. Which is also a thing, like, I've always wanted to be fully covered. I want to be fully covered in tattoos.
Me too.
Let's go get a tattoo.
Yeah. No, for real.
Let's go right now. All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Peace out. See you next Tuesday. We should get too perfect.
Because that's what we need. More matching tattoos. That would be close to.
We have because it's our way to connect.
Because we just want to connect more and more and more. Yes.
Because we are our tribe.
Facts.
Dang. That's deep.
Facts.
That's deep. If you have a tribe, you guys should all get tattooed.
Facts.
Yes. You won't regret it. Or maybe you will. I don't know. But any final things for tattoos?
I
I feel like there's something that I missed.
Me too, but I'm just like basking in the feeling right now that I'm so distracted. I'm just like, no, I can't think of any. It's such a good note.
I feel so good.
Yeah.
I feel so good. And I think, again, it's just when you are learning about things in the world, out in the world, you really are learning about yourself.
Yes.
In that same process.
Yes.
And it is such a beautiful experience because sometimes in this modern life, you just get so lost in what you're doing that your being is almost like neglected.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. And when your being is neglected, you feel disconnected.
Yes.
And it's not a good feeling. You feel almost like empty.
It's just a void. Yeah.
You're just a void because you're just focused on doing, like, feeding yourself, getting up, showering, taking care of your responsibilities. But life is not just about that.
Yeah, it's not just like a checklist you had to get done throughout the day. It's also just taking care of your own.
Yeah.
Checking in with yourself.
Checking in with yourself and connecting with the deeper part of life. And that doesn't happen in the physical space, right? So it's hard to contextualize because it's happening in like a spiritual plane that you don't physically see.
Yeah. It's harder to verbalize. It's harder to put into
words. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just also what I've just been working on. Just like when I feel something, I try to hold on to that feeling and just like let that feeling take course in my body. Because I feel like sometimes, we just, as people, we just like, okay, time to move on. Time to move on. We have so much shit to do. But it's like, no, take a moment. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Yeah. Yes. Smell the flowers because they don't always bloom. They don't. Flowers only bloom
in the spring.
Once a year, depending on the flower, once a year, and you really have to appreciate that. And that's how I would equate like what you're talking about with your feelings. Yeah. Damn. Just got deep. I did not think it was going to get this deep.
I thought we were just like, oh yeah, a little background on tattoos. We'll talk about how we feel about tattoos and call it a day.
Turns out we feel very deeply about tattoos.
No, what? Really? You girls?
Sorry, Dad. Sorry. I hope you're proud. I'm sticking to my roots. It is, as you said, it's like you feel like you make sense. Because sometimes we feel like we want things and we don't really know why.
Why, yeah.
And now when you get more information and then it kind of like explains the why behind something, then it makes sense.
Yeah.
You make sense again. Yeah. It's like, damn, I wasn't just doing that for no fucking reason.
Yeah. This is why it's so important to always talk. Yes.
Yeah.
And learn more. Because, again, we were talking about tattoos for the longest time in high school, but we both didn't know that this thing was way back.
Yup.
You know?
Yup. Facts. Big facts.
No truths today.
No truths, just facts. It's the opposite of the first Filipino American history segment. So, yeah, beautiful people. Keep learning, keep loving. If you like this content, let us know. Share it with your friends and family. If you're going to get a tattoo, is there a meaning?
Yeah.
Is there a reason why? If you want to share it, share it.
Yeah. Send us photos of your tattoos because I also love seeing them.
I love, because there's such incredible artists.
Yes.
I love cover-up tattoos. Those are fun to watch.
Yes, those are so good. I just get so addicted. It's just like, okay, that's not...
How are they going to cover that?
Right? It's like, that's not good. How are they going to fix it? And then they fix it, and it's like, what?
It's like a gajillion times better, and it's so impressive. It really speaks to, like, the artistry of the person, which, you cannot not appreciate great artistry. you know. But yeah, man. Enjoy life, love yourself, be genuine, get tattoos.
Get tattoos.
Hopefully you learned something. I definitely did. And I'll see you next Tuesday. Peace out.
Bye.